Hello, welcome back to RC Video Reviews. We have a whole bunch of stuff to cover tonight. First, we've got to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Skylark S. Then we're going to get into a quick little unbox on this Leopard motor that I ordered for the Skylark S. And of course, it's going to go on the Judge. So stick with me after the break and we're going to get right into it. Okay, before we dive into the motor, I want to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. So when I got this plane, I talked to you guys about my search for a replacement on the Millennium Master, and I had kind of hoped this plane might be the one. It's not. And before I go any further, it's not as dire as that sounds. Here's the deal. I've never flown a pattern plane before, and I know for those of you who are into F3A and pattern, you're going to look at this and go, ha ha, right? That's a joke. But the reality on the ground is that this plane flies very different than a sport plane. It's a point and shoot plane. So it goes where you tell it to go and it gives you no help correcting. And while it may not be anywhere near as precise as a legitimate pattern ship, it is absolutely different than flying a regular sport plane. So for that reason alone, it's not the replacement for the Millennium Master. That said, I can absolutely see how I would be flying this plane a lot, because I took it out just the other day and I put about 6 or 7 batteries through it. I got some time to tune the CG a little bit. I got time to tune the Expo on the control throws a little bit, and I just had a blast flying it. In fact, I had so much fun flying it, I'm seriously thinking about getting an actual pattern plane now. So that's where I'm headed. Okay, with that all out of the way, I'm still looking for a replacement for my Millennium Master. And if you watch my videos really closely, you might have noticed when I did the F-22 flight, I had the E-flite Leader 480 on the ground. That plane right now seems to be the very closest flying airplane to the Millennium Master that I've got. The Waco, who I just posted a video on the Waco, and I said that could be a daily flyer. The problem with that is it's such a big plane. It's a 50-inch plane and it's a bite. So that one really takes a lot of space. Anyway, the hunt continues. This is an interesting plane. It's an interesting addition to the hangar, but I don't think it's a replacement for standard sport flying. Okay, so with that out of the way, I have a couple things I need to tell you about the plane before I go any further. So when we did the maiden video, I mentioned that I had found one YouTube video out there where the guy that flew the plane said that 95 millimeters was the best that he could find, and that's where I set my CG when I started flying this plane, and I took it out and flew it, and the plane flew fine. I didn't have any control issues, but I noticed while I was flying it looked like it was dragging tail just a little bit, and it felt tail heavy. So the other day when I went out and flew the 7 packs through it, one of the things that I found out was, even though I had balanced it several times, it looked like I had my battery a little too far back. So what I wound up doing is moving my battery pack forward a little bit, and when I did that and balanced it again and got it exactly flat with the battery in there like that, it flew spectacularly well. It was a real joy to fly it that way. That's my segue into the motor. I suspected that 2217, which is really a 2835 1100, I did a little bit of further reading on motor markings, and some brands like Suppo, they measure the stator diameter in length instead of the can diameter in length, and that's what threw me off. That was a 2217 marking, but it really is a 2835 can. When I initially did the motor testing, one thing that I called out then, and I'll still stand by now, is I do not like the way the bearings on this motor sound at all. In fact, going out and flying it with their recommended setup and not flogging it, I'm not even talking about flogging it to death. When I got it on the ground and checked the motor temperature, it was hot to the touch. So that motor's out of here. I'm getting rid of it. And I kind of knew that right from the start. In fact, if you're in the market for this plane, do yourself a favor, get the kit version. Do not get the PNP. I'm not going to tell you what motor to get, but source your own motor. Find your own 11 to 1300 kV motor. What I did is I went out and found this Leopard. This is a Leopard 2835 6T. It's a 1350 kV motor, and I ordered it from Altitude Hobbies. Just like the other Leopard motor I did in the big monster motor shootout, it's really nice. The finish is very nice on it. Everything's packed in a nice little box. So let's get it out and take a look. And there you go. 2835, 1350 kV. Now I want to be fair, when I put this on the Judge, we already know this is going to make more power because it's already doing 250 kV more than the motor that's in this plane. This is an 1100 kV, this is a 1350 kV. So this will, you know, with the same prop, everything else being equal, this is definitely going to make more power. We already know that. That's not the comparison I'm making. The comparison I'm making is that this motor is designed to put out a little bit more power, because I know for a fact this one's been running at about 23 amps and it was coming off hot to the touch. So I've got my tablet with the specs on the Leopard motor pulled up, and I'll put them in a picture overlay for you so you see them on the video. But with a 947 prop on a 3-cell pack, this motor will make 315 watts at 25 amps. This motor was only doing about 230 watts at about 22 amps, give or take. It was somewhere in there. And then one thing that's weird about the Leopard markings though is for the 1047, they only show the voltage up to 11.1. I'm not sure why they don't show 12.6, but at 11.1 with the 1047 prop, they're showing 321 watts at 29 amps. All right, so the Leopard motor is rated for 32 amps, and it's going to make somewhere north of 300 watts with a 947 or a 1047 prop. I am going to probably take a look at the 9.6 slow fly, which is already on here, because I don't really want this plane to go fast. I'd rather have it fly slow and make the power. So the slow fly prop, I get it. It makes sense to have that on this plane. But this one might actually do okay with a 10-inch slow fly prop as well. And we'll see. I'll do some testing when I put it up on the Judge. All right, so there you go. You've got the updates on the Skylark S. You understand which motor we're going to be putting in, which motor we're taking out. So hang tight. Let me get the Judge set up, and we will do some prop testing on the Leopard and let you see what that looks like before we put it in the plane. All right, I've got my generic 2217 1100 kV motor that came with the PNP version of the Skylark. I'm going to go ahead and spool it up and check the kV real quick without the prop, and just to do an unloaded measurement for kV. 1315. Can you hear those bearings? Do you hear what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. They just sound bad. Yeah, it's all grindy, and that's my guess as to why this thing comes off. That's one of the reasons I think it comes off hot when you fly it. All right, let's get down to business. This is the prop that I flew with the plane. This is what it comes with. So everything that you're about to see, except for the ESC, and it's an 80 amp ESC, everything you're about to see is how this plane comes in the box, okay? This is the stock motor and the stock prop. So I'm going to run it up and look for thrust and RPM, and I'll get the peak numbers after the motor run is completed. Okay, I saw 952 grams of thrust on 838 RPM with an amperage peak of 21.35 and a wattage peak of 255. And the volt sag was 1183. Okay, so a little bit higher than my initial test in the plane, but that was a different watt meter too, so calibration could have been off just a touch, but it's very close. I came up with 240, this did 255, so we're right in there. Okay, now I'm going to take this one off. I'm not even going to bother with the rest. I can tell you that the 10.6 was very similar, so I'm just going to leave the 9.6 slow fly on there, and I'm going to switch the motor out for the Leopard. I'm just going to switch to that right away and get right to it. And while I get this mounted up, just a quick heads up on the Leopard, it did not come with a compression collet, which means you have to supply your own. So just heads up on that. You don't want to buy this if you don't have your own compression collet, because this motor gets mounted, remember this one gets mounted with the base facing forward, so you need a compression collet for this one. You can't use the screw-on prop adapter for this motor, or this plane. Got the Leopard mounted. I'm just going to do the no-load test for kV. $1536, so that came in 200 higher. Okay, now let's get the prop on and run this little guy up. You can already tell the difference in quality, can't you? Just listen to it. The bearings sound much better. It doesn't have that grumble sound, you know. It's like a transmission that runs with gravel in the bottom or something on that other motor. But these Leopards, man, they sound really good. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go with the watt meter test on the Leopard 2835 1350 kV. See, doesn't that already sound better? Sounds really good. All right, here we go. Let's gun it. Okay, I saw 1610 on the kV and 10,175 on the RPMs. And for watts input, I saw 492.4 at 42 amps. 42.71 amps. And the volt sag at 11.37. And that is too much for this motor. Just going to check my numbers here. 1350, 32 amps, that's 42 amps. Yep, that's too much. That is too much prop for this motor. So this one has to get propped down a little bit. So the 9.6 slow fly is not, that's too much for this one. That's spinning too fast. So let's see what else we have in our bag of tricks. All right, I turned up a couple of different options. I'm going to take a look. This is a 10.45 slow fly. I'm curious about that. I may or may not record the results. I'm just going to look at the amperage real quick and see what I see. Here we go. All right, that hit 38 amps and gave 444 watts. Yeah, that's a little warm right there, so that's still a little too much, I think. I wouldn't want to abuse the motor that much, although that seems like it might be a lot of fun to fly that, but I don't think so. So let's take that off. And I've got a 9.38 slow fly. The one that came with the plane was a 9.6 slow fly. Let's try the 9.38 slow fly and see what happens. All right, here we go. 1615 on the thrust. All right, amps 35.8, volts min was 1182, and watts was 428.6. Let's see what the book says. Okay, we're a little high on the watts, but we're right in there on the amps. So the max amperage is 32. I came in at 35. I can live with that because this is static. So that's pretty much, that still feels, oh man, that still feels pretty warm. Yeah, I don't know. That feels pretty warm. I don't like that. That was a short run to feel that warm. All right, let's cut it down some. Let's try, I got a 945. Let's try that. I'm a little disappointed that that's that hot after that short run. I know the amps were up there, but... All right, the Leopard's book says this is good for 947 at 315 watts and 25 amps. So let's see if that's what we get on in our case. I'm going to reset this real quick. All right, here we go. This is 945. Okay, that time we got 30.9 amps at 366 watts and 11.66 on the sag. That is well within specs, and the motor does not feel hot. So There we go. That's what I'm going to run. So we got a 66% improvement in thrust. We added 600 grams of thrust with this little motor upgrade, and we're within the amp limit. I mean, it only went. We were going to lose some flight time because at peak it went from 21 amps to 30. So definitely going to take a little more juice. You won't be able to fly quite as long, but the power is going to be there. I mean, this thing, 366 watts. We gained 111 watts, and we gained 600 grams of thrust. Yeah, that's going to make just a little bit of difference in flight. All right, there you go, guys. This is the Leopard 1350. That's what's going in the Skylark. Be on the lookout for another video, right? You know I'm going to put this motor in there, and then I got to show you what it looks like when we're flying. Well, I hope with a little bit of help from RC Video Reviews, you guys are getting a good picture on a setup that's going to work really well in the Skylark. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll put this Leopard motor in there, and I'll take it to the field as soon as I can and give you guys some more flight footage and let you know how it works out. I can tell you with the stock motor, it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't like you absolutely did not have unlimited performance, right? But it was okay. You could take off, you could land, you could fly around, you could do loops and rolls and all that stuff, but it just wasn't overwhelming. You know, it didn't feel like really strong, like you'd expect a pattern plane to be able to hover, right? And you definitely could not hover with that other prop. There's no way. Be on the lookout for an updated video with the Leopard motor in it. That'll be next on the Skylark series, and I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please consider subscribing. Every subscription counts and every subscription matters. And for all you guys who've been participating in the channel with your thumbs up and your thumbs down and your comments and everything else that's been going on, I appreciate that interaction, and I encourage you to keep that up as well. So I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Of course, it's backwards. Always backwards. Never, ever go in the right direction.